I fully support the UN global goals. Each and every one of them is really important, but for me, this one, reduced inequalities, is particularly important because giving everybody the best chance in life is so important wherever in the world you live.
The UK government's unveiled its plans to overhaul the country's immigration system post-Brexit. The proposals would make it easier for higher skilled workers to get UK visas, but cut the number of low-skilled migrants entering Britain from the beginning of next year. Well, we had hoped to speak to a spokesperson for the UK government this morning. We were told no one was available, nor was anyone from the Scottish Conservatives at Westminster or Holyrood. Let's speak to Ben Macpherson, who's the Scottish Government's Migration Minister. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What do you make of these proposals?
These proposals are incredibly worrying and concerning, not just for us in the Scottish Government, but will be for businesses and organisations across Scotland. It's a policy statement that goes completely against Scotland's interests and is demonstrative of the fact that the UK government hasn't listened to the voice of Scotland. In fact, Scotland's not even mentioned in the document at all.
Why does this go against Scotland's interests if we cut the number of low-skilled migrants entering Britain?
Well, first of all, I would dispute that term, low-skilled. It's a distinction that the UK government make, but actually disrespectfully disregards the huge contribution that people make in many sectors of our economy, whether it's bringing our fruit in from the fields or helping to grow our food across Scotland, whether it's taking care of people in the social care sector, whether it's working in our thriving tourism and hospitality sectors, or working in building sites across Scotland, or driving lorries and taking goods to markets and shops across the country. So people who work in these sectors and others that I've mentioned make a huge contribution, and the fact that this policy statement from the UK government is closing the door on people being able to come to work in these sectors that require more people now to sustain their current growth and performance, let alone continue to prosper in the years ahead. The change is incredibly concerning.
The UK government says the 3.2 million EU citizens who've applied to continue staying in the UK could help meet labour market demands. And we've had messages from some people this morning saying, well, there are people in this country surely who can do these jobs.
Well, we want everyone who's here in Scotland from the EU to stay, and that's why we're working hard to support them to do so. But actually, I mean, if you take the food and drink sector, for example, they need to recruit an additional 40,000 people in the coming years. So we need people to sustain the workforce now, but also to make sure that Scotland performs at its best. But also, inward migration as a concept in itself is enriching, in that it brings creativity, it brings innovation, and it also develops us as the outward-looking, welcoming country that we want to be. So the proposals to close the door, I mean, the end of freedom of movement in itself was a negative thing, and of course Scotland rejected that and rejected Brexit. But these proposals from the UK government are nonsensical and will be incredibly damaging in the short term, and really make it challenging for us to deal with our demographic challenges in the medium and longer term.
Although these were the proposals that your government outlined in Scotland's Future, the document that you gave us ahead of the 2014 referendum. You said that Scotland's differing demographic and migration needs mean that the current UK immigration system has not served our interests. The government plans, following independence, a points-based immigration system.
No, the circumstances then were different, in that we, as an independent country, should Scotland have voted for independence in 2014, would have wanted to be part of the EU and part of freedom of movement.
But your white paper, I'm reading directly from it. The government plans, following independence, a points-based immigration system.
And then had a points-based system for immigration out with the EEA. But I can say with confidence that any Scottish government which is led by the SNP would have had a much more welcoming and sensible immigration approach than the UK government is at the moment, because the UK government is really engaging in dog whistle politics here by painting immigration as a negative concept, where actually we have all been enriched both financially and culturally by inward migration.
Well,
and it's incredibly important for our future.
Isn't there an argument that Scotland hasn't been enriched enough by immigration under freedom of movement, as we've had for the last couple of decades as part of the EU? Scotland has only attracted on average around 8% of immigrants who come to the United Kingdom. Is there a specific Scottish problem in attracting people?
No, we are incredibly attractive because of the nature of Scotland as a place to live, and also the strong public services that we have here and strong businesses. Actually, I mean, the proportion that you mentioned there is similar to the proportion of our population within the UK. We've had net migration from
But if we need
EU,
more, why aren't we attracting more?
Well, we've actually also had net migration from the rest of the UK. So Scotland is an incredibly attractive place. What is endangering Scotland's attractiveness in the immediate term, and certainly in the long term, is Brexit and the wrong-headed direction and immigration policies of this Conservative UK government and the ones that came before.
Could you do more to attract people from the rest of the UK to Scotland?
Scotland is in the Scottish Government and Scotland as a whole, we're together as Team Scotland working to make Scotland as attractive as possible, particularly in these challenging circumstances with Brexit. But like I said, we have net migration from the rest of the UK. Our expert advisory group is actually looking at this issue at the moment and how we attract more people from the rest of the UK. And even indeed in recent weeks we've had a marketing campaign on the London Underground that many people have seen. We want people to come to Scotland because Scotland wants to be open, Scotland wants to attract people, and we believe that we are an attractive place. But the real danger in that, in damaging that, comes from the UK government and nonsensical policies like those announced today.
We're grateful for your time this morning. Ben McPherson, MSP, who is the Scottish Government's Minister for Public Finance and Migration.